Okay, let's talk about cadences. Cadences, we may have talked about cadences already, and if so, this will be a bit of a review, but I want to go into a little more detail on them because we have some new things to think about with cadences, and cadences are going to be kind of a thing that we come back to a few times in this class. So, what is a cadence? Cadence actually in music has two different definitions, and they're very different from each other. So when we talk about a cadence, we could be referring to either the end of a phrase, the way the piece comes together at the end, or we could be talking about a thing a drum line does. When you see a marching band going down the street and they are just playing there's a marching band and the whole band isn't playing, just the drummers are playing. And they're playing these rhythms and it's cool. That is called a cadence that they're playing. They are playing cadences. That's not what we're talking about here. So leave the drum thing out of it for now. I love listening to cadences, but a whole separate can of worms. What we're talking about is the word cadence as it refers to meaning the wrapping up of a phrase, how it ends. Okay? So there's a whole bunch of different kinds of cadences. I'm not going to go through like every goofy cadence that it could be, but what we need to know is that there are things called authentic cadences, and an authentic cadence is something that goes 5-1 at the end. So there's a 5 chord and then a 1 chord, and then that's the end. There are perfect authentic cadences, in which case it goes 5-1 in root position. So let's look at what we did over here. So if this was the end of a phrase where it went 5-1, root position on both those chords, that would be a perfect authentic cadence. It's authentic because it went 5-1. It's perfect because it was in root position. A half cadence is any cadence that ends in 5. So if this was opposite of this, if we went, let's look back here. So here's C and E. So that's a 5 chord with no 7th. So imagine this was the end of the piece and it ended on a 5 chord. It would be very unsettling. We call that a half cadence. Other types of cadences that we won't really need to deal with all that much in this class, but you should know about. Something like a plagal cadence. A plagal cadence is when a piece of music ends from 4-1 rather than 5-1. You've probably heard a plagal cadence before in any kind of, well, not any kind, but in many, many hymns that end with a choir singing Amen. The Amen cadence is almost always a plagal cadence. So if you imagine hearing that Amen sung in any kind of traditional setting, it's probably 4-1. And those are the main kind of cadences I want to talk about now. There's a lot of different other ones, but authentic cadences, perfect authentic cadences, and half cadences. That's what we're going to deal with going forward. And so for now, I want to talk about making some of those cadences with just this kind of bass melody texture that we've been working with here.